look into how we can make our database query more optimized. In this video, we're gonna see some of the approach, basically how we can make our query faster than what we usually have done before. Maybe that would be a good example. So first thing we're gonna talk about is indexing. Indexing is very important. When there is a million of data and you want to filter by some record, like for example, I have a user table which have a million of users, and I want to be able to find list of users where they have name equal to JSON. Um, Usually it's when we don't have an index is take a lot of time to find those data, is because how the database works. um, when you do a analyze of the queries, you're gonna see that it's gonna do some kinds of sorting or hash map integration to find those data, which sometimes can be slow. The usually index is very fast when it looking for a data. Like for example, creating the right index is very important. If you are a database administrator or database admin, based on your index, sometimes your query can be very slow or very fast. Second thing is materialized view. Materialized view is something good to know. When you do like kinds of reporting, let's say you want to generate a report every day morning where user can see the report per day, so per client or person per user, you will need to run the query every time user hit a uh, button to create report. Now if you have multiple join with different table, like let's say report table might have join with user table, then sales table and other table, right? It's become very difficult. Now what you can do is create a materialized view. Specifically this support in Postgres. Other database also have similar concept, if you use Redshift or anything. And then those materialized view actually help you to join all the table, store that data into another views, and then later you can query from that particular materialized view table. And this is very good in terms of performance. Then is the N+1 query. So look at if you look at this thing, if I do some first looking for user where id equal to 1 equal and id equal to 2, now you notice that I can do 2 times this query or I can do 1 time. Both will gonna give me the same data. So this is something very important. Now I have an app here, a small app created, where if I go to dashboard, if I go to my dashboard, you'll see that I have a list of user, first name, last name, email, and role, and I can create any user. That's not the issue. I use Rails for this. Now, if you look at, I have a model called user where I have a on the user model I have this user first name, last name. On my user table I have a index on user primary key and email. Same thing, I have a role table, and then this is a join table because I have a many relationships. So let's talk about index on this user table first. Now what we can do is, for example, let's say we can get a list, search a user by email. We know that we have a index on the email, right? Now if I search, you notice that my execution time is total 3 milliseconds and planning time is around 0.3 to 1 millisecond, and the cost is around 42, 0.42. Let's store that. Now since it's the same table, if I look for the first name, let's say first name I'm looking for is maybe 10, you'll notice that my total execution time is around 100 millisecond and my planning time is 1 millisecond. If you look at this query and this query, you will be able to see that since I don't have an index on my first name, because if you look at these indexes, there is no index on the first name, but I have a index on email. So my email, when I search by email, my query runtime is much faster, and I don't have a lot of record even. Like I just have 100,000 record. Think about if a database contains million of record. Now, what I can do to improve this, if you notice, it is has a filter and it doesn't use an index, right? Out of 99,000 record, it return only one record. Now I can create a index based on the first name, right? If I create this, now let's run again. We'll see that now our query run only in 0.181 millisecond, which is much faster than which we had previously. This is how we can improve our query and indexing. Now another thing we can talk about is a materialized view. So let's say we do this, all from users join roles, and then I can join with the roles also, right? Now if you notice, this query, I'm getting everything, but let's say every day I need to be able to get user dot id, first name, users last name, and then from the roles as user. Now you see I have a user, and each user have many IDs, so it's, the database is double. Maybe I can do each user how many is their role. I can do this, right? Now every user have two roles. Now these kinds of record, if I have it in the database, most of the time it will be like thousand or million of record, right? And somehow if I store it in another view, our query will be much faster because I have all the record what I need, and I have to look from only this view table. So what I can do is like I can do create a materialized view, and I can say the name of the materialized view is a mat user view as. Now if I create, my view is created. Now I just can search by the table. So treat it as like a table. What I can do is like instead of something like this, I can just say, okay, hey, or give me first name from this table. Yeah, I have everything. I can say everything. Now in different programming language, they have different libraries that can be used. In Rails, usually we have a library called Sonic, um, so which is this one we can use. And the installation process in Rails is pretty straightforward. What we can do is we can just add this gem. So in my project, what I can do is like I can say bundle add Sonic, and then they have a command to be able to uh, generate this materialized view. So what I can do is this is the way to generate. So you can generate a model or you can generate a view. So what I'm going to do is that I'll just generate a model. Now let's see. Yeah, I have this, and then I can do Rails generate Sonic view is my model. I can say the user role, and then I can pass a flag called materialize, I believe. So it is creating me my model as well as a SQL file. We're gonna see inside the DB, and here I can keep my this full SQL file. And with this, if I say res db migrate, we will see that our new materialized view is created, user mode roles. And now we can search from here whatever we need based on this data, right? It's much more efficient. The last thing I want to talk about is N+1 join. So if you notice, I have roles and then user, right? And every time I run this page, I have a list of roles, right? And it's taking all this query. What if I could do something? I get all the roles and then I select all the user and the role together. So for that in Rails, what we can do is like this. Dot rows rows. Now, if I do that, my query running as expected. However, if you notice, I have only two queries now. I have list of users and the roles of these users. It's much more efficient. There is gem also we can use to identify those kinds of query called bullet. So this is a query. If we add this gem, it will gonna automatically identify if I have a n plus query issue. Um, I really like this gem, which is very efficient in development. So it helps you to show all the exception or error. You can trigger with a Slack message or something also. That is very helpful. These are the confusion it has. So um, that's all I had for this video, and see you on next one. Bye.